know that it's important to identify your animals by branding, tagging, or other methods? Today, Orange County Livestock Extension Agent J.K. Yarborough is here to tell us why. Welcome, J.K.
Hi, Jana.
So this is really part two. So can you give us a quick recap of what we talked about as far as animal identification is concerned in the first part?
Absolutely. So in the first part, when I talked with Mr. McCubbin, we talked about several different methods of identification for animals, and mostly we talked about using a hot iron brand to identify your animals, putting it on their hide. We also talked a little bit about freeze branding. We talked about ear tagging some, but today I want to talk a little bit more about using freeze branding as a method of permanent identification for animals.
Sounds good.
So when it comes to freeze branding, it's very similar to hot iron branding. It's just well, the opposite. So using a hot iron, we're going to use an iron that's so cold that it actually kills any kind of pigmentation follicles that are on the hair and causes them to turn white.
Wow.
And it makes a more visual brand. That way, especially against animals that have dark colored skin or dark colored hair, it allows you to see the big contrast, and it allows for better visualization from a distance.
Gotcha. Now, is this a requirement like in the state of Florida? Like, is this something that's...
No, it's not a requirement. It's just it's for the user and of the producer of the animal. It's for their own benefit to be able to identify which animal is which.
Belongs to them.
Yeah.
Okay, which makes sense.
So when you would do freeze branding, there's two methods of going about it. You have to get your coolant, and that can be either liquid nitrogen, which is very cold, or a more easier method is to get some dry ice from a local grocery store or something of that sort, and to fill it with alcohol. Now, the alcohol that you use, or the solvent that you use, needs to have a freezing point well below the temperature of the dry ice. So we usually use high concentrations of isopropyl alcohol or some sort of glycerin. So that 99 to 91% alcohol that you maybe can get in stores, that's what you're going to use. So you have your cooler or something that's going to contain your dry ice, and you fill it full of your alcohol.
So this is what we have today, alcohol. So
today we're going to be using some isopropyl alcohol at 91% concentration.
All right. So as you're pouring that in there, what is it doing with the dry ice? It's just...
The purpose is because the dry ice is in a solid block. And when we use our iron, if we just put it on the iron block, the brand doesn't get evenly cold enough.
I see.
So to be able to make the whole brand cold enough to apply a proper brand, we apply a solvent, and that way that solvent gets so cold that it transfers or takes away that heat from the iron enough so that the entire iron gets nice and cold.
The entire iron gets nice and cold. So typically how long does that take? Like once you pour the alcohol in to reach the temperature that it needs to be? It can take
anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes.
Wow.
One way that we generally try to tell if it's cold enough is we'll take a look at it, and if it was cold enough, you start to see some freezing, from the humidity, and it's freezing up the brand.
I actually see that.
Exactly. So that usually tells you that it's cold enough. So when we go to put our freeze brand on our animal, first thing we need to do is clip all the hair from the area we want to get it, because the extra hair that's too long, we don't want that. We can't freeze that. We're getting that follicle right at the root. So we want to clip the area.
Close to the skin.
Close to the skin. Then we're going to take a spray bottle that we have filled with alcohol as well, and spray that area. That way we have good contact between our iron and
the skin of the animal.
Exactly, and the hair on the animal. So then we take our freeze brand, and we would press it firmly against that area on the animal. Now, depending on the size and the age of the animal, depends on how long you want to put it on there. So for our adult cattle, we usually put it there between 25 and 30 seconds. Whereas a younger animal, we might do it for 20 to 25 seconds.
So a little bit less on the younger ones.
But you have to make sure you don't go for too long, because it can actually damage and kill the hair follicle, and you'll actually end up with the exact same result as a hot iron brand.
So timing is important.
Timing is very important when it comes to freeze branding. So you apply it again for, depending on the age of the animal, 20 to 30 seconds, and about halfway through you start to kind of rock that brand around a little bit to make sure
we get the area.
Exactly. You get all the edges perfectly in contact with the metal. And you may notice also, looking at these different brands that we have here, this one's a different color, and that's because it actually has a different metal alloy in it. Because that way it has better heat absorption.
Makes sense.
And that way it gets rid of its heat thanks to the dry ice a little bit easier. So we use some sort of copper alloy like brass or bronze or things like that.
Awesome. So this is very, very interesting. So we learned about hot iron branding, and now we have the cold or the freezing part.
Freeze brand.
Awesome. Thank you so much, J.K., for being here today.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Now you know why it's important to identify your animals.